You are holding your son. He is asleep against your chest, one small fist curled around the little charm at his throat, the one you put there to keep him safe. Hold on to this moment. It is the last quiet one the two of you will ever have. You don't know that. Out past the rooftops of Pompeii, the bay is calm, the sky is clear, and the great mountain stands over the city the way it always has. But before this day is over, everything you can see from this window will be gone. And you, in the dark, with him in your arms, will make one impossible choice. It will be the only thing about you the next 2,000 years cannot bury. This is the story of that day, and of what you would not let go. Your name is Rufina. You pour wine and ladle stew at a counter on a busy street, one of 100 little food shops feeding people who have no kitchen of their own. You have a husband down at the docks, a single room above the shop, and a son who is almost 1 year old. His name is Faustus. It means the lucky one. On the 9th day after he was born, you hung a small bronze charm around his neck, a bulla, the kind every family gives a child to keep evil away. You could not afford it. You bought it anyway, and you fastened the clasp at the back of his tiny neck and thought, now nothing can touch you. He still sleeps with one fist around its cord. There have been strange things lately, if you'd cared to notice. The wells running dry, the little tremors coming closer together. A man down the street swears he saw giants walking the high ground at dusk. But the earth here always shakes. It cracked half the town 17 years ago, and they're still rebuilding, so nobody looks twice. And nobody, ever, looks at the mountain. Why would you? It's green to the summit with vineyards. It is just the mountain. Here is the cruel thing you should know before it starts. The people of Pompeii did not know they lived beside a volcano. No grandfather had a story of fire. To you, that green peak is as harmless as a hill. It is just past noon when Faustus points at it and makes a small, surprised sound. You turn to look. There is a crack, not loud, enormous, the kind you feel in your teeth before you hear it, and the mountain is gone. Where the green peak stood, a column is climbing into the sky, taller than anything you have words for, rising, and then spreading at the top into branches, one monstrous pine made of smoke. People spill into the street. Some point. A child claps. Then the sky starts to come down. It begins almost gently, small pale stones ticking off the roof tiles. Then more. Then a hail of them, knuckle-sized, fist-sized, drumming the whole city at once. And the light goes wrong. At 1 in the afternoon, the sun browns, then dims, then drowns. By mid-afternoon, it is night, a false, choking night falling out of a clear summer sky. You are already inside, already on the floor, Faustus crushed to your chest, your body curled over his, listening to the stones hammer the roof. And here is the choice, the one that thousands of mothers in this city are making at this exact moment, in the dark, and none of them know it is the most important decision of their lives. Run? Out there, where the stones come down hard enough to split a skull, where you can't see the end of the street, carrying a baby who cannot run? Or stay, under a roof that is groaning now, sagging under the weight of everything the sky keeps dropping? You hold him tighter. You stay. You tell yourself it will pass. Storms pass. You have no way of knowing, you have just chosen. The roof holds. That is the last of your luck. You measure the night by your son, his crying, his exhausted sleep, his crying again. The pumice climbs the door. When you crack it open to breathe, it spills in like gray sand, and the street is gone, buried to the waist, then the chest, the world you woke up in vanishing a handspan at a time. You are not alone in the dark. You hear the city through the walls, a man shouting one name over and over until he stops. A roof somewhere falling in with a sound like the end of the world.
then a silence that is worse than the sound. And then, far down toward the gate, something rolls through the dark that should not exist at night. A wave of heat. Fast, faster than a horse, and where it passes, every human sound stops at once. You don't have the word for it. You only know the mountain is sending something down its own slope, and it kills whatever it touches.
It comes again, closer. You could still run. There are hours left. The harbor, a boat, the water. But to reach the road, you'd have to carry him toward the mountain, through stones splitting men's skulls, into the path of whatever keeps rolling out of the dark. Every time your hand finds the door, another breath of heat moves somewhere in the night, and you pull back into the corner and fold around him and wait. It comes again, closer. You press the charm into his fist. You whisper what your own mother once whispered to you. You stopped believing it hours ago. You say it anyway. It's the only thing left to give him. It comes again, closer. You wait for morning. Morning is coming. Morning will end this. Morning is the worst thing that will ever happen to you. Just before first light, it stops. The hammering eases, then ends. The terrible glow steadies. After a whole night of noise, the silence rings. And like thousands of others in the dying city, you make the most human mistake there is. You believe it's over. You stand. Your legs barely hold you. You gather him up, awake now, fretting, one fist still around the cord of the bulla, wrap him tight against your body, push the door open against the weight of the ash, and step out into the gray dawn to run, at last, for the harbor, for the water, for the rest of both your lives. You make it a few steps. Up on the mountain, the great column that stood over the city all night runs out of strength. It collapses, and everything it has been holding up comes down the slope at once. Not stones now, but a wall of ash and gas and heat, moving faster than anything alive, hot enough to stop a heart before the mind even knows. You don't have time to reach the harbor. You don't have time to reach the end of the street. You have time for one thing, the only thing you ever truly decided. You turn your back to the mountain. You fold your whole body down over him, every part of you between your son and what is coming. Your arms around his head, your face in his hair, his small fist closed on the charm between your two chests. And then the morning arrives. The heat passes in seconds. The ash keeps falling, soft now, for hours, then days, settling over the two of you exactly as you were in your last second, curled, shielding, holding on. Rain comes later and packs it hard. Grass grows over the city, then towns, then 17 centuries. And then, one day, men come back with shovels. They find a city frozen mid-morning on its last day, bread still in the ovens, a coin still on a counter, a dog still chained at a door its owners left open when they ran. And in the hardened ash, here and there, they find hollow spaces, empty shapes the size of people, where bodies lay until they were gone. They learn to pour plaster into the voids and lift out of the ground the exact shape of a human being in the last instant of life. They pour plaster into the space you left. What rises out of the dark is a woman, curled on the floor, her back to the mountain, her arms wrapped around a child. And in the small space between your two bodies, they find the one thing the heat could not melt and the centuries could not rot. A bronze locket, no bigger than a walnut. The charm you hung on him so that nothing could ever touch him. They put you behind glass. Millions walk past and go quiet, the way people always go quiet in front of you, without knowing why. And they get your story wrong. They almost always do. They guess at who you were from the shape in the ash and the trinket between you, and they will never know you poured wine for a living, or that he laughed at the dog in the street, or what it cost you to buy a charm you couldn't afford. They will never even find your name. But the shape doesn't lie.
About one thing, they are right. A city died around you. You were given one night and one impossible choice, and you turned your back on the end of the world and put your body between it and your son. You could not save him. You did not let go. 2,000 years later, they dig you out of the dark, and you are still holding him.